And we're live. Welcome to Recap. This is QQ with my guests. I have many fine guests this morning, this evening, this whatever time of day it is for you. I have with me Thydrin. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Thydrin.
Hey all, I'm Thydrin, a guy who ends up owning burgers and fries. Asshole on the internet. I'm sure has pissed most of you off at one point or another. Nice to meet y'all.
Thanks for joining us, Thydrin. I also have Leon Gunsteel with me today.
How's it going? Not much to say today. QQ said he was doing a stream, so I decided to jump on.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us, Leon. I have Coda, who is from my other podcast that I do on the Gremcast channels. Hello, Coda.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, that's right. I said it. I'm lame.
Thanks for joining us, Coda. And finally,
I'm just here to tag along.
Finally, we have
Scott.
We have a horrible echo because my stream started playing in the background. We have Geek Variety.
Or you could call me Scott. Either way.
All right, Scott.
Yeah,
thanks for joining us.
I have the famous name Scott Hall, unfortunately. People think I'm a wrestler, and they always have to comment on it.
You know what? Come on, Racer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, right. Yeah, it generally doesn't take long for people to start dropping that one. So, yep. Here I am.
Scott, are you going to be facing John Cena tonight?
Sure, why not, I guess. I don't know who that is. No, I'm kidding. I know who that is, unfortunately.
He's a meme.
Yeah, no, yeah.
All right. That's all the guests, and I'm QQ. You know who I am. I've been doing these recaps for a while now, and I'm experimenting with different formats. So tonight we have a few lovely topics, and then we're going to have an open floor where we can discuss anything that anyone's interested in, and feel free to drop suggestions in the chat when we get to that session, or ask any questions in the chat if it's related to the things that have happened in the beginning of this month. So let's go straight into our first topic. So, the first topic of the night is Patreon, also known as hipster welfare, due to its frequent use by people who are paying other people in the Cool Kids Club solely to exist. It does have some legitimate uses, like funding things that you're actually interested in, or laundering drug money. Wait, ignore that last bit. Anyway, super extreme shitposting team. Let's see if I can get the picture of them. Yeah, there they are. I always thought that was a joke hashtag, but apparently it is somewhat of a legitimate thing. They decided that Patreon was insufficiently defaced, and that their data was insufficiently public. Taking credit for remedying this situation is Vince. It's not confirmed that Vince is actually the one who did the hack, but he's certainly taking credit for it, so I guess we can give him credit for it because no one else is stepping forward. He hacked Patreon, defaced their site, and leaked their data.
Damn.
Yeah.
I have data on Patreon. Luckily, I didn't put my real name in there because I'm not making any money. So
here's the funny thing. Vince. Where have I heard that name before? Oh, that's right. He was the one who took down Gamergate.me, the wiki. I actually witnessed him firsthand getting banned from IRC after he confessed to doing that. So, that didn't stop Brady Dale of The Observer. Brady Dale from The Observer said that the hack was GG related.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The guy that... Oh.
Yeah, so he actually did the right thing at first. He went to Kotaku in Action to conduct an interview with Kotaku in Action. But even after he finished the interview with Kotaku in Action, he made another article stating that although Vince was not a part of GG, that GG must still take some responsibility for trolls in its orbit. Yeah.
He poisons the well and then wants us to take responsibility for it? What the fuck?
Oh my god.
So, in this weirdo's mind, all trolls GG must answer for, regardless if they are involved with Gamergate or not, or if they did anything involving Gamergate.
So do we have to also take on the sins of everybody else on the internet that's ever done anything bad? Because that's fucking wonderful. I mean, I'm gonna love being an apologist for fucking Stormfront and all these other assholes out there.
Why be an
on.
apologist for things that you didn't do?
Well,
Yeah,
You're just
apparently
trying
he's
to place
saying you had
collective
to.
blame.
Yeah, this is the
By
little
his
trick
reasoning.
that you will see happening over and over again within the events known as GG. An example of this is generalizing the behavior of all of a few gamers across all gamers,
Yeah.
which is what Gamers Are Dead was doing.
Yep.
You will also see it generalizing the behavior of some participants in the GG events across all participants of the GG events. It gets even sloppier because, like you see here, they'll start shoving people who are completely uninvolved into neat little boxes so that they can slap labels on them.
Of course.
Oh my god. You know what? It's just stupidity reporting at its best. It's just stupid people. The Observer is full of idiots, just like Kotaku, just like Polygon.
It's not as simple as stupidity.
No, it's not. No. Stupidity is one thing. This is malicious. What they're doing is malicious, frankly.
All I have to say about this as well is just we need to think about how these people act. I don't even know. They have to be a new type of idiot. That has to be a new kind of idiot. That has to be like a super idiot.
Well, see, that's the thing. By dismissing them, by calling them idiots, is really belying what they're really doing. And what they're doing is they're doing this consciously. This isn't just them being dumbasses. I think this is what's behind this is malicious intent. They want to, paint Gamergate because they've lost on so many other fronts when it's come to trying to paint us as certain things. They're going these other different ways to try and poison the well and taint the things that Gamergate is or is not, and trying to portray what they are. So I think this is not about idiocy or being stupid. I mean, it's a great way to write it off and just fuck those guys, they're all assholes, But I think it goes a little bit deeper than that. So
yeah.
It's
This
somewhat
is
of a
very much-
marginalization tactic. They're basically saying, don't listen to anything that these people have to say, because they're in this bad outgroup of mine. It's similar to what they did with other groups, like the MRAs. They always generalize all the MRAs as being like the worst MRAs, just so that they can shut them up and not have them be a part of the discourse.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, it's even more insidious because they're covering up for their own bad behavior. In this case, it's the journalists who are doing it, and
yeah,
why
they have
do
a
want us
vested interest in
marginalized?
doing this for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, this is one of the things that I often say about that is I never signed up to be a part of a group called GG, so I just pull that card, right? I'm not in a group called GG. I am participating in a series of events, and if you don't like my behavior, you have a problem with my behavior. Don't try and lump me in with anyone else's behavior because I'm not responsible for that. I'm not going to take responsibility for what Vince did, even if I was in the same IRC room as Vince, which is something that was the case. I was in the same IRC room with Vince. I don't think I saw him say 2 words until he started confessing to hacking things.
QQ, you're involved in everything apparently. What's it like to be a mastermind?
Well,
I was only
Apparently-
tangentially involved in the last thing. You got all the heat for it, though.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I've heard it said that I'm involved in shady dealings. I prefer to call them fun shenanigans.
Full disclosure, I'm not involved in any shenanigans with QQ at the present moment or in the past up until this point.
Darn, I need to work out some
in the
more shenanigans.
future, we're not sure yet.
I was not informed about many of the secret cabals going on in the background and secret mailing list, unfortunately.
What a shame.
Yeah.
No,
It's actually really funny because a lot of the places that have a reputation for being a secret cabal are fully public. Like the IRC I'm talking about, you could join in today if you wanted to.
don't let facts get in the way of people's outrage. I mean, come on now.
That's why Vince was there, is because
Today's secret cabal is fully public.
Yeah.
You know
Vince
what?
was there
People
because
are getting really tired of outrage culture. It's just like everybody is starting to get tired of it. I've seen this from a lot of people. People saying they used to think outrage culture was a good thing. Now they're hating it. They're seeing all the negative impacts on it. The Vlog Brothers just did it about like a month ago. They did one thing on outrage culture. I mean, it's getting to the point
They
where
don't like
everybody's
it whenever it gets turned to them.
Yeah, that's the fun part, right? The events known as GG have been the first time that there's been an inversion, and the people who've traditionally used outrage culture as a weapon have had it turned against them, and they don't know how to handle it at all. And it's great because if you're using outrage culture against outrage culture, and eventually one side loses, it doesn't matter which side. You get to see why they lost and see ways to fight against outrage culture.
I just think it's ironic. They're now facing the monster they created.
They don't like it very much.
Yeah, it's just fun to see him get all butthurt. That's always a good time.
I don't like this.
I want to get off this ride, Mr. Bonds.
You can't get off the ride. The ride
There is
never
no
ends.
getting off the ride.
Yeah, this train's got no brakes, sir.
Yeah. Speaking of the ride never ending, here's what was leaked during the Patreon thing. So if you have a Patreon account, you might want to call up whoever you can to try and hide this information, change your passwords. Yeah. So the private messages were leaked. Everyone who had backed any creator on the site was leaked, along with the amount of money that they were backing them with. This includes like private Patreons where you don't show that you've been backing anyone. Any DMCA takedowns that have been issued, which is largely useless. I guess you could look for slap stuff if you were some kind of law fag or something. Shipping addresses are in there. That's probably of the largest concern, is the shipping addresses. Encrypted tax forms, I mean, depends on what kind of crypto they use, whether that's serious or not. And a user location table, which Brady Dale rightfully points out, why the heck is this here if there's already a shipping address table? So I'm guessing that might be GPS info. That would be disturbing if it was, like from mobile devices.
Yeah.
That would be kind of
user location table.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what was leaked, and now there's a little bit of a debate about, since it's already been leaked everywhere, is it or is it not ethical to dig on it? And if someone does dig on it, what is the right way to publish the results?
Now, here's the joke about this. As someone who is involved with an earlier project called Indefensible, I've already faced this conundrum. Ever heard of the Polytron hack?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. That's actually going to come up again tonight.
Yeah. And a lot of people weren't complaining about that particular bit, now were they? Uh-huh. There was a citation of a particular court case, which people might have forgotten. You can discuss the information that's been released. You do realize this, right? You should be only bringing out the information that is critically needed to make your point, and to make certain that you redact every bit that is not needed to make your point. In other words, bringing out the bloody entire list and trying to say this is their entire donation list, yada yada yada, is useless. Instead, you should end up pointing out stuff like, this particular individual has donated to this amount to this particular individual. That sort of stuff is okay.
Right, like the PopCap gamer.
That is okay.
Games guy.
And a lot of people are trying to say that is not okay, and I tell them, you are an idiot.
Well, as long as they're not putting out, specific information that could, potentially dox the person, like you said, just putting out the amounts. I don't see that being a problem, really.
The amounts in their name.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if you're going and giving out their full addresses and other stuff, you're being an idiot yourself.
Yeah.
But you need the specific information that is actually relevant to the story at hand.
Right.
That is okay.
Makes sense. I think this is something that we're going to see
it's a case of minimize harm.
Time. Because I think that we're going to see more and more things come of this.
And a lot of people are going to disagree on how to approach it.
Exactly.
And my favorite one was them bitching about Matthew Hopkins, trying to talk about it with people in private. And the reason he was made a particular comment that Ghazi ended up going crazy about was to cover his own ass legally. Because, for all he could have known, some of the people could have been outed, as far as engaging in money laundering, in which case he would have had to report it.
Wow. Well,
That's an
that
interesting
makes a lot of sense actually. Then why I saw the wording of
That
that legal
would be
document.
why he would end up mentioning that particular line. It's legalese to save his hide.
Okay, well that explains that situation then.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get why people are bitching and moaning about that particular line. There are plenty of issues you could end up having, but that's one of the weirder ones. I mean, it would have made more sense if he was just willy-nilly releasing the entire list and whatnot and claiming doxing and yada yada. But this particular complaint, he's letting them know what's going on and that, hey, you might want to change your email, change your password. If you're involved in some stuff, you might end up being reported. But, I mean, there was one of the questions that was weird, like about Randy Harper safeguarding your personal data. That one never made sense, mainly because it was Patreon's fault, not Randy.
Yep.
But other than that,
All right. Well,
that's my comment on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes good sense. I'll drop a link to Matthew Hopkins. Is that who it is, Matthew Hopkins? I'll drop a link to the article you're talking about in the description once the stream is done, if I remember to. If I forget to, just bug me on Twitter until I do it. Anyway, do you want to move on to the next topic now?
Sure.
Everyone had their had
Yeah.
their piece? All right, fantastic. So some new news came out that Motherboard is replacing their comment section with something better. No comment section. Since we're talking about Motherboard's readers' comments, perhaps that is an improvement, but it is part of a disturbing wider trend. Motherboard is following in the footsteps of The Daily Dot and The Verge, both of which closed their comment section, and both of which cited GG for the toxic environment, which led them to close them. Motherboard did not cite GG as a reason, but they are certainly closing the comments, and they are following in the footsteps of those two other sites. Yeah, I just think that this is a very unusual trend.
It's not.
But is it?
I see this with a lot of SJWs. Like there's this like a couple YouTubers. They try to claim that it's like, oh, it's all about sexism and hate speech and racism. I mean, there is a lot of genuine sexist comments and stuff like that. There's genuine sexism on YouTube. I mean, I'm saying just genuine, not like that fake stuff. It's like, oh, you suck, oh, you're sexist. It's not like that. I mean, it's like genuine hating comments and stuff like that on YouTube, racist comments. But those are few and far between. And
I've seen tons of retarded comments. The
Yes,
thing is, anyone could have said it.
Yes, and
it's not even representative necessarily the demographic you're attempting to reach. There are people that will go to comments just to shit on them, just to make themselves feel better. There are some people that are paid to go and shit on comments just for fun.
Well, GG is a convenient boogeyman, basically. So.
Yeah.
That's just the latest one, like the MRAs.
Yeah, let's look at it like this, though. Websites right now are by and large kind of flailing because they're losing ad revenues because Google AdSense isn't paying what it used to pay. Their revenue streams are getting dried up, like with Kotaku, where GG has gone after them and really kind of hit them hard in that regard. So, and we've seen a rise in native advertising. So, to me, it seems kind of more along those lines as far as why this kind of stuff is happening. If you look at it like this, basically, instead of doing native advertising, if they shut down comments, they can get their writers to create articles, quote-unquote articles, that can say whatever they want. They can talk about anything that they want and basically dress up native advertising into something that just looks like a regular write-up. And because they got rid of the comments, nobody can call them on it, and they don't have to support it as being native advertising or paid advertising or sponsored or whatever it is. So, when you really think about it, because the way the climate is changing, at least to me anyway, it seems pretty obvious why they're doing this. They're doing this for the money. And I would be willing to put hard cash down saying that we're going to see a lot more. We're going to see a trend where sites are going to start making these very congratulatory, even more so than now, congratulatory type posts about products, and you're going to see a lot more product placement, quote unquote, I guess you could say. So that's just my 2 cents on the subject.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even in the case of actual, sorry, Coda, go ahead.
So pretty much what you're saying is we're going to see a lot more copies of the "What the fuck is wrong with video games" article.
Yes. Okay, I was wondering something here. What the hell's going on with Google AdSense? Like, they have been dropping off for the past 2 years. Is it just because everyone and their dog is using AdSense now?
Well, it's just the money's just not there anymore. I think from the advertisers down, so they're just having to adjust. It's not the target-rich environment that it used to be. So.
Yeah.
I think it might even be the case, even in, like, if it is a properly disclosed native ad, the last thing you want in your quote-unquote article that is a native ad is someone in the comment section saying, yeah, I bought this piece of crap and it doesn't work.
Exactly.
I mean, is that what you want beneath your ads?
Exactly. See, this way they have unfettered, they can say and do whatever they want, and they can't have anybody talk back to them and discount their claims.
Yep.
Or even have to worry about dealing with native advertising anymore. They can just dress it up.
It's getting worse, the ads, because AdSense was drying out. It used to be fine, I could handle it. It wasn't as bad as it used to be. Or no, it wasn't really, it used to be actually good, the advertisement. It was just like a few ads here and there on the side of the screens. And then they started putting videos in the ads. It's like, fine. And then there's like 3 or 4 videos that they put in. I used to be against Adblock, and I'm tempted just to get it, just because I could stop these videos. I have a 6-core processor, and it's throwing my processor to the limit. I mean, my processor...
You actually don't bother with Adblock. I'm surprised.
I haven't done Adblock in a long time. I've never done Adblock, but I'm almost tempted to get it now because these advertisers, how they're doing the things.
I would recommend it from the start instead of a whitelist, not a blacklist.
Yeah, I actually have a compromise that I do. I just get Flash Block, because that blocks any, like, video ads or anything like that. Yeah.
I'll do it then.
Yeah, there's extensions that just block Flash. That gets rid of all the really annoying ads, but you still, if a site has respectful ads, you still support it by displaying them. So that's my compromise.
I use, along with Adblock, also NoScript, which disables both the Flash and the Java.
and the JavaScript, yeah. That's actually another compromise, too, because you can put NoScript on. You're not really blocking the ads. You're just blocking the JavaScript that loads them all.
Yeah, there's ways around it. But I think you're going to see an increase in articles that are going to look really, really suspiciously like advertisements, becoming pretty common.
Yep.
You know, not that they already aren't, but I think there's going to be a real push further with that. I think it's gonna, some next level shit, kind of thing. So, we'll see how it plays out. But that's my thoughts on that situation.
And
yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Now, what is considered?
Thank you. I made sense. Yay. Go me.
Well, I mean, I was thinking, when I hear something like this, I tend to think more like in tinfoil conspiracy terms. Like, there's studies that came out that say things like comment sections actually do influence the reader. So if you're trying to push a grand narrative and there's comment sections that are breaking your narrative, that's the last thing you want. But basically, if it, as you said, you can attribute a financial motivation instead, that's usually the more likely case. If money's involved, money. It's more likely that that's why they're doing it.
Yeah. Yep. Indeed.
Money.
All right. Do you want to move on to the next topic? It's time for some ethics.
Sure.
Hooray!
It's always time for ethics.
This is interesting because who it is, you will see a very familiar name. Let me open this up.
Nathan Grayson?
Nope.
Damn.
Oh man, that's super.
You can do it.
Catherine Cross. Oh,
yes, you worked it out.
Yay.
So are you ready? Bone Golem is making updates to Deep Freeze with regards to a certain person, Catherine Cross. Everyone's favorite crazy cult leaderish personality.
Oh, her.
Now it's just a classic.
Yeah.
There we go. Look Catherine Cross, everybody. Give her a hand.
Give Catherine Cross a hand. Yeah, have you actually seen the video this comes from? Actually, don't watch the video this comes from. You won't be able to stand it. Just look at the Think Serious video that covers her instead, because that actually has excerpts from this video, and that's more tolerable because it's only about a minute long. So you don't have to listen to her go on and on and on and on.
And you'll get a full dose of crazy with that.
Yep. Anyway, what did Catherine Cross do? Because I generally... I've said this in the past. Catherine Cross, she likes to sit in the shadows, outside of the spotlight, writing articles that are actually quite cleverly written. If you value the article's ability to push a narrative above like everything else, she's one of the smart ones. Like I tend to look at people like Zoe Quinn as being an opportunist, but kind of like doesn't think long term. Catherine Cross thinks long term and comes up with some very, very clever things.
Well, she is a grifter.
Yeah.
So, what did Catherine Cross do this time? Well, what was discovered is that Catherine Cross wrote 5 articles. One in RH Reality Check, which is a website on reproductive health. 3 in Feministing.
Okay.
Everyone's favorite feminist blog that once hired a troll that was arrested for sending terrorist threats.
Oh, it's a little more than sending terrorist threats.
That's never not funny.
Oh, fuck. Let's see. As you can see, some of them are even covering Gamergate. Ooh.
Booga booga.
Yep. And then the final one
You know,
was
they
written
use
in...
Empire of Dirt with that title. I said, really, they use Empire of Dirt with that title?
Yes, she always comes up with a hook, like a clever little thing to put in the title that is kind of primes you for what mindset she wants you to be in when you read the article.
She knows how to write a good headline.
Exactly. The final article was in, wait for it, Bitch Media.
My favorite!
That's everyone's favorite, what is it, a blog?
I don't know.
Probably a blogging site of some kind.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was so interesting about these articles? Well, what was interesting about these articles is that she talks very positively about certain things and certain people and certain organizations. People like Anita Sarkeesian, organizations like Feminist Frequency, and things like the video series about tropes versus women in video games. Now, she doesn't disclose anything to do with her relationship with these.
You don't say.
Yes, and she has a very specific relationship with these things. Because she is, in fact, and I believe, wasn't this revealed by the Polytron hack?
What's up?
Her relationship to Feminist Frequency?
You
No,
mean
that
that
was
she's
not revealed due to the Polytron hack. That was due to the TATS form that was given out. Because they kept trying to block all that shit, they eventually got the TATS form. She is known as Feminist Frequency's secretary.
Yep. So there you go.
So she's actually promoting a group that she works for.
Yeah. Are you really surprised by this
Shocking.
point?
what's
No,
that I
I'm
smell?
not. And in other news, and in other shocking news, the sky is blue, and there are terrorists in the world. I can't think of another funnier joke for that one.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like one of the reasons why I think that there's this many conflicts of interest all the time is because the clique isn't very big. It's not very many people. And there's very few figureheads, right?
Yeah.
There's figureheads like Anita Sarkeesian, Zoe Quinn,
Well,
Sarah
Quinn, she's
Sarah
more of a
Butt-
useful idiot than a figurehead.
Yeah, well, she's treated as a figurehead even though
Well,
she
yeah.
can't lead worth a damn. Sarah Butts, too, was recently made into a figurehead, while
Right.
she also cannot lead worth a damn. So,
Yeah, don't even get me started. Just one thing to keep in mind, even though Zoe Quinn is not and will not ever be top dog, she has more relevance than you might believe.
Oh, no, you're totally right. I don't dismiss her by any means, but she is not the brain trust that people seem to think she is in some cases.
Even I would agree she is not a brain trust. Not even close.
She is a very useful idiot. That is for damn sure. She has shown herself to be incredibly useful. Not intelligent, but useful.
Very relevant, but not leader or anything like that.
Yeah.
And that was what I said at the start, and people keep trying to say, oh, it's an obsession and all this shit. No. That was whenever I was combating the literally who meme. God, I fucking hated that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally who is a literary whoville?
Yeah, what Thydron means when he says the literally who meme was
she's not relevant. She's not relevant. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's not relevant to she's not relevant to GG. We should call her literally who. Right. And that was something that was pushed pretty heavily
Q.
on Kotaku in action. Huh?
Yeah.
Guess what's in the chat?
Who's in the chat?
Guess who's in the chat?
That's the other Sarah bots. That's not the Sarah bots.
Not the real one.
Yep. Yeah. If you hover over it and you see 0 subscriptions, you can tell. I think I actually did get a comment from the real Sarah bots on one of my videos though. She objected to something very strange in them, like that, like I would not expect anyone to actually pick out and object to. I need to check if that really was her, because I screenshotted it and wore it as a badge of pride for a while. I'm not so sure.
I noticed you.
That's actually the comment that I put in reply. I said exactly that.
That's too good. That's too fucking good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I think all these conflicts of interest keep cropping up, is because if they're trying to push this specific set of ideologies, there's not really that many people that they can talk about.
Yeah, so they have to keep cycling around over and over and over again, circling the drain.
Yep. And okay, here's a way to put it. Who could Catherine Cross write an article about who is producing the kind of content that Anita Sarkeesian is producing that she doesn't have some kind of relationship with?
Nope.
A few, but not a huge bloody list.
Yeah, it's a pretty small list. So if she makes lots and lots of articles, which she does, that's basically what she does. Some she considers to be of academic quality.
Academic quality?
Yep. But
Which she considers? She said this?
Well,
that's a glowing endorsement of her own work.
Well, you can look at like First Person Scholar, and she has articles on there.
It's like Kotaku didn't do anything wrong. Citation Kotaku. It's like, come on.
No, she actually wrote some very interesting articles on there. I'm going to eventually make a video about one of the articles that she wrote on First Person Scholar. Okay. And it's going to be a very controversial video because of the subject matter. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm going to leave you all in suspense. Ooh.
Oh my.
Oh my.
But yeah, that's Catherine Cross's latest conflict of interest. So we'll probably see a deep freeze entry on that if it's decided that it is interesting for deep freeze, which is interesting because that means that Catherine Cross will actually be entered as one of the people on deep freeze, whereas previously she was not. So.
Oh, she wasn't?
I don't think she was.
Surprising.
Because she wasn't listed as a journalist.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like, why don't you start adding some more interesting people?
Yeah.
I'm all in. So that's the thing is Bone Golem has started this process of consulting people before adding it, like running it by the public to see if they're interested. I'm completely in favor of adding Catherine Cross and other people who dance on the line of blogger and journalist. Because
I think it's just for the sake of how intertwined she is with it that she should be involved. She should be the words are hard. She should be put on deep freeze. I mean, it only makes sense. I mean, it's like if you're trying to create this overall picture, I think she almost has to be in there because she is so involved in everything. It seems like a disservice not to put her in there and not to include her.
I agree. She's very relevant, and the interesting thing is some of the things that she wrote became canon. I know that sounds weird, but the AGG, like Ghazi and things like that, they have this entire like fictional saga that they've written.
The little gospel.
Yes, their gospel.
Really?
And she is one of the prophets.
Yep. That's not. You think that's funny, but that's not a joke.
No, I don't doubt it. I've literally never been to Ghazi, so I miss out on so much.
Well, I use Ghazi like they use Gamergator.
Oh, okay, right.
They say Gamergator, and they mean this loosely defined group of people that they don't like. I say Ghazi, and I mean this loosely defined group of people that oppose GG, not necessarily people on Ghazi. And I do that. I know that is bad logic. I do it because they do it. Turnabout is fair play. That's actually funny because I didn't used to like the term social justice warrior very much because I thought it was too loosely defined. And then I started see people like actually put social justice warrior or social justice paladin on their profile. And I'm like, if you're using that yourself, yeah, I'm gonna use that because as long as you keep self-applying it, then yeah, sure.
Why the fuck not? Makes my life easier.
That's social justice good.
Wasn't it an insult originally, social justice warrior?
Yes.
Yes, it was an insult, and people
It still is
decided,
an insult.
man, that sounds cool. I want to be that.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Because
This
they're dumb.
proves-
All right. Should we move on to the next topic? This one's
Yeah.
long and scary.
Sure thing, boss.
All right.
Scary.
So this at first will seem tangential to GG, but I think that it's absolutely intertwined, and I'll explain that once I'm done with my little fancy intro. So the TPP was finalized. That's the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It's a trade agreement, but we, the public, are not allowed to see it yet. Well, lucky for us, someone leaked it, and now we can see it in all its disgusting glory. Of most interest to us as gamers is the section on intellectual property. A chapter called, and no, I am not joking, I am not making this up, Chapter QQ.
Yes. Oh man.
It contains nothing good for us, the consumers, at all. So breaking DRM for any purpose, the TPP encourages all the member countries to make that completely illegal. Even tampering with a device or a file containing a DRM system can be made illegal, even if you're not committing copyright infringement in the process. So no more jailbreaking your iPhones. Here's another thing. Do you remember the
Or your
absurd?
iPads.
Yeah, or your iPads. Do you remember the absurd penalties in the what was her name? Jamie Thomas Rassett case, where they like fined her over $80,000 a song, and the total was nearly $2 million for sharing it on file sharing networks.
That's
Well,
retarded.
Yeah, that was still at the time considered to be compensating the recording industry for actual losses. Under the TPP, judges can award even more than actual losses in copyright cases. So they could award more than $80,000 a song if they thought it was due to the copyright holder.
Jeez.
The TPP even goes after abandonware too. So so they have provisions in there to allow damages in cases where the rights holder can't be found. And yeah, it sounds crazy.
No, it doesn't.
Just a massive fuck you to basically everyone.
Yeah.
Remember that? Okay, I got a good situation.
doesn't
Remember the
copyright
song
require-
"Happy Birthday"?
Yep.
Right, that became
It's
public
still
domain
fucking
again, didn't it?
licensed.
Wasn't it at one
No.
time?
I think it became public
Wasn't
domain
that
this year, didn't it?
One
It did.
time,
They just-
owned by
they-
Michael
they-
If
Jackson.
it is, it might have just been it. But
Yeah.
as far as I know, they
Yeah,
had
there's a
paid
legal
license from
case.
Yahoo.
There's a legal case that said, yeah, you have to. You can't private that song. You can't copyright that song.
Yeah, I remember reading a few months ago. I think it has become public domain finally. But yeah, I know what you're saying though. It's like basically they could give you if you make a video and put it on YouTube and you're singing "Happy Birthday" to somebody, you could potentially be sued for that.
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
and now with TPP,
By the way,
you can be sued
you know
for
when that
doing
song
Let's
was
Play
published?
videos.
1893.
Yeah.
Okay,
And that's-
I gotta save one thing right here. Good luck to the political party that supports us. All I have to say is, to the one who actively supports this active public
By
system.
the way,
I say good luck on your next election.
in the European Union,
Yeah.
it's still under copyright.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
actually another
God.
thing that's in the TPP is basically they took some of the longest copyright terms, the United States ones, and then they're trying to enforce that in every country that's a part of the partnership.
Now, if you're talking about the one in the U.S., guess whenever it finally was stricken down?
A couple weeks ago, I think.
In
What was-
September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew
So,
Happy
that.
birthday.
in 1893 song, and it took till 2015. Now, here's the best part of it. Now, this, to keep in mind, a federal judge declared that the Warnell Chapel copyright claim was invalid, ruling that the copyright registration applied only to a specific piano arrangement of the song and not to its lyrics and melody. So a particular piano arrangement of that song you will never be able to play, essentially. But you can sing the song.
Yeah, they were doing crazy things. Like they consider people singing it in a restaurant to be public performance.
Yeah.
And that's why if you ever notice when they sing Happy Birthday in a restaurant, they will use an alternate version with their own lyrics and their own melody.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
the reason.
They're just
Now they
trying to
don't
make
have
a. I mean, this whole thing is stupid, and it won't work. I'm just trying to say it right now. Everybody knows this thing won't work.
But the
Well,
thing is, the
will it
entire
not
point
work?
of it,
It won't
even as
work,
messed
I mean-
up as it is, it's
Well, what's going to stop
designed.
it?
No,
Yeah.
the entire thing is it's designed simply to tire you out. They've been doing this for year in and year out, and year in and year out,
Yeah.
and they're hoping that people will stop fighting.
Yeah.
That's all they want. They want to keep pushing it through and cramming it down your throat and up your ass until you stop fighting it. That's what
Basically.
they want.
Yeah, and each time they give it a little bit of spit and polish and hope no one notices that it still contains everything that it had in the last
Yeah,
bit.
change the name from CISPA to SOPA to whatever it is.
Tifa,
you know,
Sopa, yeah.
And keep in mind, it's not simply TPP, it's the TTIP as well as others.
TTIP, yeah.
Yep.
And here's the
Just
thing
a
though, too,
tip.
that should be really worrying to most people is that the broad-ranging scope of the TPP is such that they can basically make a claim on anything. If you make a Let's Play video, if you make your own recording of a song and put it on YouTube, they can file claims against you. And via the TPP, all this stuff is actionable in court. They can sue you for this kind of stuff, not just give you a copyright strike or whatever and get your YouTube thing suspended. They can actually come after you. They can sue you. They can get damages. This is incredibly intrusive.
But wait, it's even worse than that.
Yeah, no, it is. It really
And-
is.
Yes.
Destroy any equipment used to produce
Yep.
infringing copies of things.
Yep.
They can turn copyright cases into criminal cases with jail time
Mm-hmm.
if it's considered to be on a quote-unquote commercial scale.
And that's the
And-
thing. The wording is so vague and so ethereal that they can basically turn anything into this. They can basically lawyer it up to make anything turn it. They could say, "Oh, you were wearing a shirt with a Pepsi logo on it. We're going to sue you for copyright infringement on your Facebook page because you had a picture of the Pepsi logo and didn't get it, verified or whatever." It's ridiculous. The
And now
lengths
because
that
of
this
that,
gives them power.
you go to jail for 25 years.
No, and this is what I have to say right here. If stupid shit like this does happen, I'm gonna say this right now. I'm not gonna be surprised when a higher courts like the Supreme Court start to take action. I wouldn't be surprised. They probably might take action. Enough lawsuits from enough pissed off people or enough pissed off voters saying, "I'm tired of being under the fear of going to jail. That candidate doesn't like the TPP. Let's vote for him."
Well, and here's another thing too, though. Think about this. This is not just American
This
law.
is the
Basically,
beauty of the US.
this involves a lot of different places. So basically, say if you do a remake of Gangnam Style or whatever the fuck that song was, those people in South Korea or wherever the guy's from, he can sue you.
Yep.
And there won't be any restrictions because of international borders or anything else. Anybody on any corner of the planet can sue you for pretty much fucking anything at this point. If
Yeah.
that goes through.
Basically,
it
all
has-
the worst laws would be put into play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they
a
took all the
corporatist
countries,
wet
found
dream.
all the worst laws in each one of the countries, and they're making it worse for us, the people.
Yeah.
good for the corporations that they consulted. And they decided the best for the corporations and the worst for us from each country is what should be in every country.
That's pretty much TPP in a nutshell.
Yeah,
Yes.
it does some
Snapped
other
on
nasty
steroids
stuff.
for the Americans.
Yeah, it does some other nasty stuff too. Like it'll have a chilling effect on journalism. It cracks down on whistleblowers because it criminalizes any getting any access to trade secrets. Full stop, no exceptions.
Yep.
So if you're performing an act of whistleblowing and that involves access to a system that contains trade secrets, your ass is grass, man.
Yeah, you can be it's corporate espionage basically is what they're putting it out as.
Yeah, which is absurd. I mean, also, are you ready for your ISPs to become the popo?
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
Because, and I quote directly, ISPs should be given legal incentives to cooperate with copyright owners to deter the unauthorized storage and transmission of copyrighted materials. Or, in the alternative, to take other action to deter the unauthorized storage and transmission of copyrighted materials.
Did you just say storage?
Storage.
Because that implies that they might be looking on your computer.
Well, I think what they're trying to go after with that is services like Amazon
Cloud services.
Yeah, Amazon Cloud Services and things like
Well,
that.
as vague as as broad a scope as this gives them to go after people, I would not be surprised if they would somehow weasel it into, oh, we were looking through your computer files and we found this stuff, and and it's perfectly legal because the TTP, or TPP.
Yeah, well, Sony
And
got
they
away
don't
with
need a
installing
warrant
that
for
rootkit
anything.
on everyone's computer, and
Oh yeah.
they could just repurpose something like that, and you wouldn't be able to tamper with it or remove it either, because it's considered that would be considered circumventing a copy protection device.
Right. It's going around DRM, and that's illegal. Gotta protect those corporations. Don't want to make them lose any money. Oh my gosh, this is the
Because
most
then
I
America
have
was
to
in money.
think.
craziest thing ever. This is 1984 taken to a whole new fucking place. I mean, this is Orwell couldn't even have imagined something like this actually happening. I mean, he was just like, oh, this is, this is just a crazy idea that I had for a book, and this is just it on steroids, just to the tenfold. It's just insane. Absolutely insane.
Think of it this way: George Orwell called thoughts that he didn't approve of and speech that he didn't approve of bad think, right?
Right.
He never came up with the brilliant idea of calling speech that he didn't like violence.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's
No, that's like if somebody who was great at pointing that kind of stuff out was George Carlin, how how shell shock got turned into PTSD, how they take words and just totally terrorism, everything's a terrorist now, everybody's a terrorist. Excuse me. Oh, pardon me.
Your face is a terrorist.
You know what? To make it to get it through to the U.S., it would have to go through Congress. And you know who? The one thing about the TPP and why we really shouldn't be all doom and gloom. I mean, it is doom and gloom, but not completely. Is the fact that Barack Obama did this. He's a Democrat. The Republicans are in control Senate and the House. The one good thing about it being an all-Republican Congress is this right here. They don't Republican Congress. It's because they don't want to do anything Obama wants to do. And if they say, oh, the public hates us, they'll love us. There's a presidential election coming up. And then the people will be like, oh, thank you, Republican Party, for saving us from these evil corporations. And that's what will happen right there. And I don't think Obama knows how much he screwed his own party over if they try putting this through.
Well, it's already passed the Senate. I think it has to go through the Congress now, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I know it passed one of the houses.
It did pass one of the houses, and that it passed quick. They were like, we're doing a press conference where we announce that we finalized it, and we don't actually share any details that the public cares about because the document is sealed, and we can only talk about the press approved sections.
Right.
And then later it was like, oh yeah, it's already passed one of the houses. It's like, what?
Yeah.
No, but
Wasn't this passed behind closed doors kind of thing altogether?
It was some rushed process. When anyone in Congress is doing something quickly that it's serious business.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It really passed through it really passed that quickly through the Senate.
Well, yeah, it was like
Yeah.
I said, it was all behind closed doors. It was like, oh, hey, guess what? We tried passed TTP or TPP.
Yep.
Basically, is what happened. And everyone was like, what?
Now, the good news is that we have gotten this far before with other things like this, if I recall correctly. It wasn't like one of the SOPA people things didn't
Like,
pass one of the
SOPA.
houses. It was SOPA.
Yeah, but that had a lot more power behind it, though, too. At the time, we're seeing a lot of apathy when it comes to the TPP. It's not really getting the attention that CISPA and SOPA did.
Yeah, remember when SOPA and people like Reddit had that massive protest across all the subreddits and Wired blacked out and all of that?
Yeah, but some of those sites now are actually supporting TPP, unfortunately. There was a list that came out last week, I believe, that showed, oh god, what was it, like AT&T, and there's a whole slew of pretty big players.
Yep, here we go. I actually...
Oh, do you have it? Oh,
I
okay.
have it here. Big list. Let me
Yeah,
see.
I mean, look at that. There's some names on there that are pretty hard not to see. You know, it should be very troubling that these corporations basically are trying to sell the consumer out. They're trying to sell everybody out, and people aren't really aware of it, and it's kind of frightening, honestly.
All I have to say is this right here. I mean, if the worst thing comes around, like I've said before, and I say again, good luck on your re-election, whatever dumbass politicians put this in place. Good luck on your re-elections.
But at that point, though, with the way they've restructured campaign finance and with the power that it's going to give these corporations,
No.
votes
It's
don't
actually
even
worse than that.
count anymore. Who the
Making sure. It's worse than that. Have you not heard of the revolving door of politicians and corporate interests?
Oh yeah, they get out of Congress or the Senate and they go work as lobbyists.
There you go.
Yeah, dude, I'm old, man. I know. I've been fighting this fight for fucking decades. Believe me, I know all about this shit.
I know. I'm just pointing it out because the other guy was like, "Oh, we're just reelected and throw the bum out." The thing is, he'll just be a lobbyist.
Yeah, exactly. They don't leave. It's not like a cleansing or anything. It's not like, you know, when it got a colonic and all the fucking bad stuff is gone now.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately.
All I gotta say is
The only way they're gone is by Microsoft. And the only way that
yeah, there you go.
I'm not surprised by
that
Microsoft doing
politician is
this.
gone.
What was that, Coda?
The only way a bad politician is pretty much permanently gone is they go to jail for a long time.
Or they die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah.
Okay, little history here. You guys all remember the monopolizing of major industries like the steel industry, the oil industry, railroad, all that stuff.
Talking robber barons here?
Robber barons, thank you, that's the word.
Right.
The president before Theodore Roosevelt, what was his name again? I think of his name. I can't think of his.
No clue.
I don't know. He died in office because apparently some reason he was in favor of the robber barons. Some pissed off worker just put a bullet in him, basically. Some pissed off migrant worker. I don't know what he was. I know he was executed for it, but he assassinated that president. Theodore Roosevelt took office right after that, and then the antitrust laws were put in place. I mean, we had monopolizing owners over our society in the past, and we've overcome them. So I won't be surprised if we do it again. I'm not trying to sound like a complete optimist, but
It's more of a
corporations are
case of
controlled.
you might not like what the resulting solutions are, depending on how it ends up being. But it can be dealt with.
But
the fact that
it
it's getting to the
doesn't-
point where these things are actually happening, though, is the problem. It just shows a general malaise and apathy among the voting public that is just, you know, it's counter-consumer, it's counter-citizen, it's counter-international citizen. It's, you know, and this is the kind of stuff that people should really be worried about is that we don't care about democracy, and it shows. And that is the thing that has me the most worried personally.
Well, that's decadence for you.
Oh yeah. Hey, as long as you got your 3D TVs and your no calorie fucking soda and beer, fucking fuck it, whatever. Who cares about third world or anybody else? America.
Yeah, well, I was kind of hoping that we would go more down the path to that form of dystopia before the bad stuff kicked in. I was hoping we'd be in like the, everyone's drugged up and completely in bliss 24/7. Before they start introducing all this irrelevant shit, could they at least do us the courtesy of making sure that like we're in euphoria constantly?
Yeah. Give us a reach around, huh? Even if it is with
many
a
reasons
hand.
why I like one of the many reasons why I'm kind of glad I live in an area of people that have nutcases that say the government's trying to control our minds. I love being in that area of Montana. I live in it's actually a real nice place.
I mean, you live in an area where they get fluoride filters and chemtrails?
Yep. You know what? These anti-government psychopaths, at first I always thought they were just like these really crazy nutcases. It's just like, okay, Grandpa, you forgot to take your medicine today, but it's like, starting to see it now, oh, the government's trying to control everything. It's like, maybe they had a point to something here.
Yeah, there's a grain of truth in what they're saying, that's for
Yes. And I'm starting to see it now, and I always view these people as just being nutcases, as just being pure crazy. And now it's just like, wow, they actually make sense now because we're seeing this stupid shit happen.
sure.
Yep. Well, that's all the topics I had planned. We can kind of open the floor for a little bit. We're approaching an hour on air, so I don't want to go too much longer. Some other things that we could discuss are the backlash to the UN, the entire UN is Uncharted 2 or Uncharted 4? Which one are we playing?
Oh my god, that was funny as hell when I saw it. VGG, you're a bunch of dumbasses.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bring this one up because it's hilarious, and it is related to GG very closely because it's gaming journalism being absolute crap. Here's the address, by the way. This is the address of the GG site. Basically, what ended up happening is, and correct me if I slip up here.
Tweet.
It was someone was at an event playing. Oh wow, yeah, they did cite Random Fox's tweet. Oh my gosh. Yes, they released an article saying, "Is Uncharted 4 a Thief's End too formulaic?" They had a hands-on session with Uncharted 4, or should I say, what they thought was Uncharted 4. This was VG 24/7. Actually, it wasn't Uncharted 4. They were playing the remastered version of Uncharted 2 Among Thieves.
One of the best Uncharted games ever made.
Yeah, so no wonder it felt like it was derivative of the older Uncharted games. It was the older Uncharted games.
And didn't the guy say he was an Uncharted aficionado or something along those lines?
Oh my god! If he,
I forget what the exact quote was.
I can
That's
tell
just
when you're
embarrassing.
playing an Uncharted game. I'm an Uncharted fan myself. I can tell when it's Uncharted 2 or Uncharted 3.
I'm just, because I read about this very briefly. I didn't delve too far into it beyond reading the thing about where the guy was like, apparently he's a big Uncharted fan or something, and he didn't know the difference. And I'm like, how is this? The game isn't that old. How can you not, if you're a big fan, not know? I mean, it's like if you put a, I'm not like a huge Call of Duty fan, but if you put any of the Call of Duties in, I could tell you which one it is. I'm not going to be like, oh, this is the newest Call of Duty game. I know the difference between them. I don't see how this is other than just these people are getting these jobs that don't give a fuck about them, which we've obviously seen a lot of. People going to press events and saying they'd rather talk about wine in the Philippines or whatever the fuck it was.
Yes.
Yeah,
That dumbass.
That to me just strikes me as
stupid anyway. Remember?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was the video games are stupid anyway. You're just sitting there and pushing buttons. You're not really playing sports or fighting terrorists.
I would rather eat puff pastries and drink sparkling drink.
Yeah, that entire thing struck me more as I want to experiment with gonzo journalism. I'm really not interested in Rockstar 4, so
Right.
I'm just gonna write
Rock
whatever
Band
the heck I
4.
want and see if my editor will approve it. And the editor approved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that strikes me.
Yeah, that's what the whole Uncharted thing strikes me as. These are people that don't give a fuck about this job because they probably got it as fallback, and obviously doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So it's and this is the reason why I quit working in that fucking world a long time ago. So fuck all that, because I saw this shit happening back in 2010, and it was stupid back then, and it's fucking stupid now. These people are just fucking terrible shitheads. They're just fucking bad people.
No, but I wanted to. You know what? They don't give a shit about actual gaming. I mean, it's to the point where it's like, I'm not a fan of Rock Band 4 myself, but you know what? I would at least go up there and give it a try, make a fool out of myself. I'm not a Guitar Hero Rock Band type of person, but I will give it a try.
And you know what the funny thing is too, is that fucking when they're going to these events, they're being flown out to these events. They're being given stipends. They're being put up in fucking nice hotels. This isn't just we're gonna stick you in a fucking Motel 6 for a couple of days. And this is like they're getting the full royal treatment here, and these people just don't give a fuck. I mean, it's like you have you have people that would fucking give a nut or a tit to fucking have this position or be in that position. And these people are just so concerned about themselves and just so up their own asses. They just don't give a fuck. It's like,
Yep.
I'd rather be talking about sparkling wine and I'm just so fancy.
No, it makes them look like pricks. It really does. It makes them look like a bunch of rich assholes that none of us can relate to. So you know what? There goes their viewing audience.
Yep. I mean, I'm just glad that this kind of stuff is actually being more out in the open now, so that people can see it, because that wasn't always the case. So that's one of the things I love about Gamergate, is the fact that these people are being shown to be the assholes that they are. I mean, it's fucking fantastic. Keep acting like a dick when you go to these events and you're being treated like a fucking celebrity.
And the great thing is we've kind of, dare I say it, Dydrin don't hit me, gamified it. We've made it where we finding these types of things and talking about them is fun. It's a form of entertainment, so I think that's cool.
Yeah, indeed. It's great. I think it's great that people take pleasure in and take pride in the thing that they love. We all, as gamers, I think it's safe to say that we all love games. That we want to see the best for that, that industry. We want to see good come of it. And these people obviously don't give a fuck. And when you can fucking take the piss out of them and show them for the fucking dickheads that they are, that is fucking immensely humorous. Love it when people do that. I think it's great. It's fantastic.
Do it for the lulz.
Saying, man,
And
fucking old school, doing it for the
understand
lulz.
that.
Yep.
They
now
think
you're
doing
being
it for
a
the
verbal
lulz is
terrorist
just
now.
trolling and
That's the
pissing
thing.
everyone off and being like a complete piece of shit. No, you don't need to just piss people off. Not just do it. I mean, there's plenty of options where you have fun doing it.
Yeah, and the great thing is too is like, what is it? Never interrupt your enemy when they're making a fool of themselves, or whatever it is, whatever the saying
Whenever
is.
they're making a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like it's gotten to the point now where these people are so brash and so bold or so emboldened that they are making these stupid mistakes all the fucking time, and it just makes it so much easier for us because we can just be like, "Did you see this?" It's like they didn't say it. No, they said it. It's like
They said it. They don't care.
yeah.
You can't
They
fix
just-
stupid, guys. You really can't fix stupid.
Yeah, because they think that they can just be like, oh, they're just GD terrorists and write them off and stuff. It's like it's just their lack of self-awareness when when you hear some of the shit these people are saying is just
You
incredible.
know what? I am, because of all this stuff, the TPP, how these idiots are acting, I'm almost about to join. I'm almost about to be just as crazy as those nutcases that build bomb shelters and say, I'm doing this because America's dead, like that. I'm about to be like those nutcases. I feel like that anymore these days. It's just going to be like, you know what? Those guys are making more sense than the people in power.
You know what's funny though? These people that are saying those kind of things don't realize that America died a long fucking time ago.
When
It's
the
just now
inbred, when the incest family that screams, that lives like is 60 miles away from where or like 30 miles away from where I live, that scream, the mole people are coming, the mole people, like that's when people like that make more sense than Barack Obama. You know there's some there's some problems.
All right, I'm gonna start wrapping it up here shortly because we went over the hour mark. I did just want to point this one out because it's also rather humorous. GG did manage to hijack 2 more hashtags related to the UN thing.
Hooray!
Yes, take back the tech and imagine a feminist internet. Now, I've seen some questions about, is this a good strategy? Because there's reactions like this. I've already shown the link to everyone. Here's the link if you're interested. UN Dispatch, which isn't actually part of the UN. It reports on the UN. It's like a place where people can put their blogs about the UN, about things happening at the UN. Published this very outraged piece about how those hashtags were hijacked and how we're all a bunch of right-wing conspiracy theorists. I just think it's funny, really. I mean, the thing is if you push these things and you push these things and you push these things, what you do is you provoke a more and more absurd reaction. And this is a reaction that's so absurd that people can see through it. And I'm all in favor of showing off the absurdity of it. Because they do quite a lot of amusing doublethink in this article. So I just wanted to bring that up because that was another thing that happened. And
it was glorious shit posting.
It was. And you can see like people like Seattle for Truth, his video is being talked about because as this crazy right-wing conspiracy theory video, and he's just loving it.
Well, that's one way of him getting cited.
Oh my god. The fact that they would
most
cite
people don't really give a fuck, but some do.
Well, you know why though? He doesn't really do himself any favors when he gets a fucking microphone in front of him. That's for fucking sure.
Oh my god. I know
Problem
who
with
you
him
are,
is the same that he's had before.
Okay, guys.
Messaging?
He does
I know who you are,
on the
Sean.
presentation. He does good. The problem is he's got an ego that is way outsized, and he cannot take criticism. He is even worse than Ralph about that. He is worse than Ralph by orders of magnitude.
But he keeps it real.
Some validity to that.
He keeps it the realist.
He
But
keeps it
I would say
realist.
that his arguments are a lot more
Entertaining.
A lot better. No, they're better researched. They're more well formed than Ralph's are. I mean,
Yeah.
Ralph
problem
basically
is,
degenerates into "fuck you, faggot." I ain't mad at you, but whatever. Fuck that faggot. It's like that's his response
he
to
does
everything. I ain't mad, but
digging.
fuck that faggot. It's like
The problem is he's mediocre at presenting, and he's got so much ego that it undermines his work.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I could see that. Yeah. And plus, he just doesn't, like I said, he doesn't do himself any favors, ego or not. He's got a messaging problem. When he starts going off on these fucking rants, it's just like
there is one bit.
Pull it back, bruh. Pull it back.
There's one bit that I'm at least happy that he took my advice on. That he at least shortened those fucking videos.
Oh Jesus, dude, yeah. Putting it all in a 4-hour chunk was a big mistake, man. Yeah.
Nah, he ignored it all.
Yeah. No, I know.
And he blamed everyone else.
You know what?
No, I remember.
How long it takes for people with crappy internet, crappy upload speeds with like barely a megabyte upload speeds. You know how long it takes to
Exactly.
upload something that big?
Well, not even that too. People's attention spans. It's like nobody wants to sit for 4 hours and listen to hit. I mean, no offense, Seattle, but your voice isn't exactly inspiring. No. Your cadence, you kind of put people to sleep. I'm just gonna put it right out there.
Yeah.
You kind of put people to sleep. I mean, unless you're live and you're going on a fucking tirade, and then people are just laughing like crazy, but whatever.
All right, I'm gonna wrap things up here. I'm gonna go through the people one more time. If there's anything that you'd like to show, feel free to give it a shout out. So I'm the QQ. If you're watching this, I've already done my shilling, so I have nothing more to say. Thydrin, do you have anything that you'd like to shill or call out?
Other than if you want a spot to gab that's a free speech section, burgers and fries. You know the drill.
All right. How would you go about getting there? What network is it on?
It is on the Ryzen network. It's been cited in academic papers, talked shit about in multiple articles. Come on down, see what all the fuss is about, that they've been blaming all you poor bastards on.
Full disclosure, I basically idle in Burgers and Fries 24/7, and it has gotten me a reputation for engaging in what I like to call fun shenanigans.
Yeah.
Leon Gunsteel, feel free to shill anything that you like.
YouTube, it's just straight out Leon Gunstill. Twitter, it's Leon_Gunstill.
Fantastic. Thanks, Leon. Coda, is there anything that you'd like to call out? Sounds like Coda's
sleeping.
We're doing the Hey, now I'm here. Can you
Okay,
not hear
there he
me?
is. There he is.
You're slightly lagged, I think, because you're responding to me a little bit
Yeah.
after. But go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, we're doing another podcast this Saturday. So, those interested in the podcast with me and Q, the channel is Star Sequency, and it'll be called the Grimcast.
All right, thank you,
It'll be
Coda.
started at around 8 p.m. Central.
And Scott, is there anything you'd like to show?
Actually, there is. Usually don't, but next Thursday at 6:15, I'm going to be having a live stream with Rutledge Doggett from Tech Raptor. We're going to be talking about
Nice.
new games media and ways
Talk about
forward.
that.
And try and talk about some solutions, not just people bitching on the internet about nonsense. So we'll see what happens. So there's going to be a live stream, and we're going to do a Q&A at the end. So stop by, and I'll post up the links on the Twitter machine, and people can come by and have a look.
Is that on your channel?
That will be on my channel, yes.
All right, great to know.
Cool.
Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks, Thydrin, Leon, Coda, and Scott. I had a great time. So, yeah, thank you. I'm gonna take this off air now. I'll see you all about.
All right.